Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the MFC team, welcome to this social finance-wide workshop, which will focus on EU financial instruments and program for microfinance and social economy. My name is Bruno Urbino, and I represent the advisory side of the European Investment Bank, where I'm in charge of following a number of platforms, in particular social inclusive finance technical assistance, also known as SIFTA, but the FICOMPASS platform as well, the Impact Invest Capacity Building Program, and the Gender Finance Lab, I would say inter alia. So talking about SIFTA, and now I'll have to share my screen. Let's see if it works. Let me know if it works. You see the slide?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to start by saying that this session is organized with the support of SIFTA, which is an initiative of the European Commission in the framework of social investment skills and window on the InvestEU Advisory Hub, managed by the European Investment Bank. We will learn more about the SIFTA initiative during the course of this session. I will stop sharing. 1 second. Back to normal. In interest of time, let's jump very quickly to the subject of this session, which is, as I said, EU financial instruments, programs for microfinance and social economy. The idea of today's session is to provide updates on the various EU programs, initiative, instruments in support of microfinance and social economy. During the next 90 minutes, we'll try to understand what are the best practice to get access to EU instrument, what are the novelties, particularly the ones which came up in 2025, but also to some extent, which are the challenges that potential beneficiaries might have faced in accessing these programs. So today, and this is called in just-in-time technology, I'm very happy to have a panel of distinguished guests who will provide their view, focusing on the implementation of their respective initiatives. So in this respect, let me introduce Seiji Suzuki Navarro, who is acting as senior banker at the European Investment Bank. Simone Petrillo, who is investment manager, inclusive finance at European Investment Fund. Juliana Hajek, head of new instruments and EU program unit at Council of Europe Development Bank. Eduardo Sierra Martin, financial instrument advisor at the European Investment Bank. And last but not least, Anna Zurek, financial instrument advisor at European Investment Bank. I would also like to introduce, but you don't see him, Pavel Kapsdorfer, who will kindly act as technical coordinator for the session of today. Well, I guess it's all set. The idea of this session is, again, to raise awareness, to have a good interaction. So I would encourage all participants to take this opportunity to make a comment, and you can do it in the chat. Or if you have question, this is also a good opportunity to write it in the chat. You can also, there is a possibility to share resources, document presentation link. You see, we have the option of resources, and please feel free to add a link or whatever is relevant for this session. Very good. I guess we are all set. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me start this session with a first round of questions. And in particular, I would like to ask as a general question to the speakers, what are the novelties? What was the updates, the progress in your activities, particularly during 2025? And let me start with Seiji. Let's start with you. I understand that you have slides. I'm not sure if you are able to project, but over to you, Sergi. And
Yes,
let us know what
yes.
we have to do. Yeah.
Indeed,
And
Bruno,
what
I think
about your slides?
I won't be able to project. If you can share mine through you, that would be very, very helpful.
Okay, so I'll share. Okay, very good. One second. Check. Okay. Anna started the screen. Very good. Over to you, Sergi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for the question, Bruno. Indeed, I mean, I believe 2025 has been quite a relevant year for the EIB, specifically in the area of financial institutions. I mean, we've been reinforcing quite a lot what we do in our risk-taking capacity. I think that has been something quite important. We've been exploring to open to work with new intermediaries that we haven't worked before, and we've reinforced what is our social financing projects that we've been doing in the department, such as with credits. For example, we signed an operation this year with credits. We also signed with a very small financial intermediary in Spain called CBNK program, also focusing 100% on women entrepreneurs. So we are definitely doing much more in the area. Of course, we would like to do much more, but I think it's quite a good start. It's already quite, I think some of our colleagues are also looking at these examples in that what can be replicated in other member states. Hence, we are quite, let's say, positive at least of the progress we made in 2025, and hopefully willing to continue during 2026. Of course, there are some challenges that maybe I will speak about them a bit later.
Sorry to interrupt you. Let us know when is the time to change slides.
Yes, if we can go to the next two slides. So let's skip the first slide. Go to the second slide, please.
Do you see them changing? Sorry.
No. I guess you need to be in a presenting mode.
Just a moment. Technology.
Anyway, Sergi, if you would like to continue in the meantime.
Yes. So I think well oh, lovely. I see. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Yes, thank you very much, and apologies for the technical issues. So indeed, for those of you that maybe don't know us, I'll give you a brief introduction of who we are. So the EIB Group is composed by the EIF and the EIB. Together, we're the largest multilateral lender in the world, actually. Combined lending, we do around 90 billion a year. Let's say the EIF is more specialized on small and medium enterprises, and they do mainly two products, which are equity and guarantees. The guarantees, I'm sure you know them very well via or the social finance, where they do have the social finance guarantees, but they also offer other guarantees that support different policy objectives such as climate, innovation, and in general support to SMEs. In the case of the EIB, we're mainly focused on several core areas. We do guarantees as well. We do lending a lot, so our core business is in the lending. And if we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So we're focused on well, exactly several. Yeah, we can stay in this slide on several priority areas, which is mainly innovation, sustainable energy, sustainable cities, SMEs and mid-caps. And we have transversal, what we call objectives, which is climate action and to support the cohesion regions. In terms of climate, and I want to highlight that under the previous presidency of President Werner Hoyer, it was strategically decided that we would become the Climate EU Bank. That's translating into 50% of our volume focusing on climate. Purpose. However, with the new presidency, we established new priorities, the 8 priorities, as we call, though they're still around these PPGs, traditional PPGs of the EIB. But we include from social and sustainable housing, our agriculture, innovation, cohesion, the capital markets union, etc. So a series of more targeted priorities. Know that in that sense also we're targeting to support the social economy. So as mentioned, Bruno, basically, or in terms of novelties for 2025 would be this focus on these 8 priorities, but also a focus on social finance in the areas where we can support, where we have the capacity to support. In these 2 examples, I think are great examples that we did for 2025.
Very good. Thank you, Sergi, for this initial. I guess we're gonna get into the technicalities a bit later, but it's important. So what I retain is that there is, I would say, the novelty is a kind of an opening. I would say on an opportunistic basis to intermediaries, would that be microfinance provider or social finance provider, which are focusing on impact, on social impact. So this is quite an important, I would say, message that you are providing. Okay, thank you very much, Simone. What's new at the IEF? How has 25 been instrumental in let's say social inclusion?
Hi, Bruno.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone. First of all, can you see my slides?
Yes, maybe you put them in a projection mode.
Yes, yes, I'm doing that. So,
very good.
So, yeah. Thank you, Bruno. First of all, so in 2025 at the European Investment Fund, we are continuing our main focus is continuation of deploying of our main program, that is the InvestEU program, and in particular in the inclusive finance team where I'm working, we are focused on supporting micro enterprises and social enterprises. And for this, we have 2 different instruments. We have portfolio guarantees and we have the capacity building instrument. Now, focusing on the portfolio guarantees, the microfinance social window are part of a broader scope of the InvestEU guarantee products that covers over 10 billion across 6 guarantee, what we call policy windows. And our focus is microfinance social, so as I said, supporting micro enterprises, social enterprises. But how do we do that? We do that if we start with the portfolio guarantees. We do that through cap portfolio guarantees. The difference with uncapped portfolio guarantees is simply that in cap portfolio guarantees, the losses are capped. As you can see here, we can go up to 25 or 30% in the case of the social window cap on the overall portfolio. And what we offer is basically very, very defined and streamlined products. We have one dedicated product targeting microfinance, where we have a limit per transaction of 50,000 euro. And we have another product targeting social enterprises, which where transactions can go up to euro 2 million. What is important to highlight, I will not go into all details, but what is important to highlight is that for all our portfolio guarantees, we ask the financial intermediary to transfer the benefit to the final recipients. This can be in terms of reduction of the cost of financing, collateral requirements, support to exclude a segment, or other bespoke measures that can be agreed from time to time. We can support different kind of business purposes, from investment loans, working capital loans, and business transfer. And as I said before, the maximum guarantee cap rate can go up to theoretical level of 30%. It's set at the level of the expected losses of the portfolio, and each loan is then covered up to 80%. And very important, also the guarantee product that we offer under social window are free of charge. Very briefly, as I said, we operate with a very different range of financial intermediaries. It's important that for the our microfinance products, the financial intermediaries applying must comply with the European Code for Good Conduct, and they must also offer business development services. And on the social entrepreneurship side, we base our program on the social enterprise definition, which consists on enterprises, regardless of their type, that can achieve a measurable and positive social impact. It's important that they provide service or goods that generate a social return, and they should have a predefined procedure and rules for profit distribution. So they should reinvest most of their profits into the into their social objective. On the other side, in addition to the portfolio guarantees, we are also very much focused still on capacity building investment product, which is a subordinated loan. It's a subordinated loan, fully unsecured, typically offering a bullet structure, with a maturity up to 2 years. And that can be also structured as tier 2 or tier 2-like. So for certain financial intermediaries, having a capital relief also benefit. And this is offered generally to build up the institutional capacity of the financial intermediary that have typically not reached yet sustainability, or that are in need of risk capital to sustain their growth and development in the area of microfinance, social entrepreneurship, or also skills and education. Any kind of financial intermediary can apply, and it's important that the CBI product supports dedicated investments made by the financial intermediaries, which can cover organizational development and expansion, strengthening its operational capacity, institutional capabilities, and also could support the capacity of the financial intermediary to increase its borrowing capacity to raise additional capital. So this is what we are focused on still in 2025 as part of the InvestEU program, and maybe we'll share later a few achievements in terms of numbers that we have accomplished so far. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Simone. Thank you. Let's move on. I would like to ask Juliana. which is representing the Council of Europe Development Bank, which is, by the way, quite an important player and implementing partner under InvestEU. What were the main activities achievement in 2025? Juliana, over to you. And maybe we can take out the slides of Simone. Stop sharing the slides.
Thank you. So I won't have slides for now. I'll share my slides later. So just a quick introduction. Good morning to everyone. I work for the Council of Europe Development Bank, CEB. We're based in Paris. And like EIB and EIF, we work very much on microfinance. Microfinance is a priority sector for the bank. And it's been a very busy year last year for CEB. So firstly, in terms of lending, so CEB does not do portfolio guarantees, it provides loans. So in terms of lending, our microfinance portfolio grew considerably, especially with under the InvestEU supported guarantee. We've also, in addition to lending, we provide guidance. So we've also expanded our capacity building services, advisory support to a number of microfinance institutions. Specifically, we've worked in providing support for measuring impact. And we've developed, with the support of the InvestEU Advisory Hub, the Social Impact Measurement Toolkit, which there's a dedicated session on that later on today. So I invite you to listen in, because that's quite an innovative and interesting a product that has emerged out of the Advisory Hub support with CEB guidance. And lastly, last year, we launched quite a new thing under the InvestEU program as well, which mixed lending and capacity building support. So we've received a grant, non-repayable funding from the European Commission. And with that, we have selected 9 microfinance institutions through a competitive process. And those microfinance institutions will receive non-repayable support, so grant funding for doing business development services and for providing interest rate subsidies for vulnerable groups. So we're really working in these 3 areas: lending, guidance, and a mixture of both on our own as CEB, but especially recently in the last year, we're working very closely with the European Commission under the InvestEU program, and also in cooperation with all the colleagues you see here from EIB and EIF. So that's it for me now as a short introduction to CEB's work over last year.
Thank you, Juliana. That was very good. Quite a lot of achievements and a pretty busy year for SEB, I would say. Let's move further. Eduardo, maybe a little more on what is the progress on SIFTA, and actually starting from what is exactly SIFTA. Over to you. You're on mute at the moment. Very good.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Loud and clear. Not now, not anymore. No. No, at the moment we cannot hear you. Give you a few seconds. I don't know, the previous configuration was perfect, so maybe without the... No, we cannot hear you.
Maybe.
Now yes. Okay,
No,
don't touch anything.
I cannot even hear you. Yeah.
But anyway, we can hear you. If you want to go ahead, that will be perfect.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my headset were not working. Perfect. Yes, my name is Eduardo Sierra. I work with Bruno in SIFTA. So 2025 has been a year where the initiative has been already settled. I mean, SIFTA started in 2022. And even after 3 years, we see that the demand of the services is still strong. So 2025, we had I was calculating before, we had 11 new applications. So that means there is a total of 66. That means that the market is still very interested, and we receive many applications, and probably from here to the end of the year, we will receive, I expect, like 3 or 4 more applications. Also, I wanted to take this opportunity. I know that probably SIFTA was already mentioned. It was mentioned in the opening webinar, also briefly in this one for Bruno, but maybe to introduce a bit the initiative in case it's not clear for someone in the audience. So I'm going to share the screen if I can. Yeah. Do you see my screen?
In 1 second.
Yes.
Yes. Put it in presenting mode. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So, okay. So basically, SIFTA is a social inclusion finance technical assistance. And what we do, we provide technical assistance and evaluation services to microfinance institutions and also to social enterprise finance providers. The program, the initiative will stay alive started in 2022. Normally, it will be until 2027 with the possibility to increase until 2029. And the beneficiaries of the specific services, I will speak about the services in the next slide, need to be from EU27 for the specific services. How we do it? We have 2 lots, as you saw in the previous slide. One is the lot for the technical assistance, that we do it with the help of the Frankfurt School of Finance in consortium with Microfinance Center, European Microfinance Network, and FEBEA. And the other lot is specialized for the evaluation services and is performed by Microfinance Argentina, MFR. A bit quick overview of the services. As I was saying before, there are 2 groups of services. Horizontal, we call it horizontal, which is basically workshops and seminars that are open for everybody. So it's not necessary to be inside of the EU27. You can be an organization from wherever in the world. You can join. I recommend you to follow us in LinkedIn. There is a dedicated profile of SIFTA in LinkedIn where normally we update everything, all the webinars that are planned. For the specific services are reserved to institutions inside of the EU27, and we need you to formally apply. So there is an email address, which is sifta@eib.org. And as from there is a form to complete. And normally, if you send us an email, I will reply to you from there, and you can apply. So the specific services, the more popular is tailored training. So basically, there are some days dedicated to your institution where you can improve the area that you need. There are another service that is investment readiness training. In case you want to apply to EIF, we can help you with the process, like what are the requirements. There are also study visit, peer-to-peer, where basically you can go to visit another institution to exchange best practices. There is portfolio analysis and pipeline building. So in case you have already a guarantee from the EIF or another financial product from SEP or even EIB or other investing you implementing partner, we can help you to grow your portfolio and to build the portfolio in line with the criteria of the loan that you have received. In the part of evaluation services, there is ratings, impact assessment, ESG assessment, and the big star of the show, which is the code of good conduct for microcredit provision, which we do the evaluation and also the renewals in case you are interested in the code and it's the first time you don't have it, we always recommend to apply for the training first, and then with the training they will assess the capacity, and then you can go to the evaluation, and it's a long process, but it's achievable for most of the institutions we see. And for the moment, I stop here.
Thank you very much, Eduardo, for this overview. Let's move on. Anna, on your side, can you tell a little more what you have been active in 2025, relevant for the microfinance sector?
Yes,
Anna,
good morning. Good morning once again. Can you hear me? Just to check.
Perfect.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, fantastic.
Yes, loud and clear.
I think that there is a small delay though, so apologies for that. First of all, once again, good morning everyone to our audience. I just saw in the chat that we have quite the number of participants, and I'm very happy to join again this Social Finance Vibe event, which is really unique, organized by Microfinance Center. And thank you very much for following this session. I'm working on in EIB advisory in the team of Bruno. And following several mandates that are relevant here for the microfinance sector. One, I will maybe start with FICOMPAS. So this is our flagship mandate with the European Commission to promote the use of financial instruments to support different policy areas, including cohesion policy, and two other ones that are under the InvestEU Advisory Hub. So Eduardo just mentioned SIFTA, but also I'm following the Impact Investing Capacity Building Program. So what have we done this year? We have under FICOMPAS, we have several work streams, and one especially the ESF Plus work stream supports financial instrument in the area of microfinance. We also are continuing our work with DG Home on the AMIF work stream, where we explore the potential for financial instruments to support third country nationals, where we also see the biggest potential for microfinance instruments doing that work. Our usual activities are publications, events, and other support tools, mainly for managing authorities and bodies implementing financial instruments. I know that our colleagues from working on the ESF Plus work stream have organized a very interesting event in Madrid that focused as well on microfinance. We have several interesting publications, and I will post in the chat the FICOMPAS website so that you can maybe have a look and find interesting publications there. But I wanted to focus a little bit on the, quite an interesting work that we have been doing under SIFTA this year. In June 2024 already, EIB has signed a loan agreement with Banca Etica, an ethical bank in Italy. This is quite a unique operation for the EIB. And the operation has three focus areas: gender, refugees, and cohesion areas. And we here at the EIB advisory are providing through SIFTA non-financial support to Banca Etica to help them basically to use this loan and to identify within their portfolio suitable operations that can be included. So that's quite an interesting area. This support is still ongoing and will be ongoing still for quite some time. As we are looking more increasingly in this area of social finance, also at the EIB, we organized together with our colleagues from FEBEA and also GABV, so two important networks of social and ethical finance, an event on 5th June called Ethical Banking for More Social Impact in Europe, where we brought together sector representatives, but also our here teams from EIB and EIF, and it was quite an interesting opportunity to exchange really on the needs of the sector and the products that are there and to try to think about how to best accommodate the needs in the future of the sector. And following that, we have as we have also support from the European Commission on to further work on that topic on SIFTA. We are just starting to work on an access to finance study focusing on the social finance sector. So it's going to be quite an interesting experience as well. Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you very much for this overview, quite interesting. We are ready for a second round of question, and let me start with you, Sergi. You were about to get a bit into the details of some of the most, I would say, relevant type of operation that the EIB can do with social finance providers. So maybe if there is room to reshare the slides of Sergi and maybe comment on without bearing in mind that we are not all super technical, so please use I would say not super jargon wording, but let's explain how does it work from EIB point of view.
Of course, Bruno, of course, and thank you very much for the introduction. Indeed, I mean, for those that don't know a bit how we think in terms of operating model, I can give you a very brief highlight how we work at the financial institutions department, which, by the way, where I work, where I'm part of, we are responsible for let's say all EIB intermediated operations with financial institutions, so mainly banks, of course, but we also work with other institutions such as leasing companies, microfinance entities whenever possible, and non-bank financial institutions such as, for example, leasing companies. In the intermediated model, what we do is basically our target, of course, is to reach these public policy goals. However, we partner with these institutions I just described through the use of certain financial products, which are mainly in the form of loans and guarantees. Loans can include structured credit, which I will go a bit into detail without being too technical. And at the end is equity, as well. Equity, although equity we mainly use for funds. So that's where we typically intervene with this type of product, the equity, so with funds in order for them to invest equity in final beneficiaries, which are typically can be startups, early stage companies, etc. No? If we can go, Anna, to the next slide, please. Yes. So just to give you an overview of the type of activities we do at the EIB with financial intermediaries. So last year, full year, we did around 19 billion across the EU with an average ticket of 180 million per intermediary. Of course, the main geographies where we operate are with the biggest countries in the EU first, which is Germany, Spain, France, Italy. But of course, we operate across all member states and have in certain member states, actually, with certain products, we have a higher proportion of what they represent overall in the market size, such as securitization in Eastern Europe, in countries such as Poland, etc. By types of products, we are basically 60-40, so 60% cash, so loans or let's say cash type of products, 40% guarantees. We have been increasing a lot the guarantees we've been doing in the past years, specifically since the FC mandate or the commonly known Juncker plan entered into force in 2014, I think it was 2015. Since then, that allowed EIB to take more risk. It helped us change a bit the culture of risk taking and allowed us to introduce in a bigger, more, let's say, standardized and available form the guarantee products, which now represent 40% of the business plan. In terms of intermediaries, of course, 60%, the majority are big banks, but we're trying to diversify. And I think that, as I mentioned in the beginning, a novelty is that we're trying to go more and more to non-bank financial intermediaries. That is, whenever possible, so microfinance institutions such as credits, very smaller financial institutions we wouldn't work with, such as this institution I mentioned in Spain, CBNK, and we're trying now to work with other alternative lenders in the EU. We are more on a selective basis, as our business model is based on balancing the public policy objectives. But on the other hand, we have to maintain our AAA standing as a credit institution, as a bank. So we do have to balance both activities as much as possible, as well as the minimum volumes we typically are allowed to do. If we can move to the next slide, please, Anna. So in terms of products, to go a bit more specifically, we do two broad categories, as I mentioned. The first one are the loans or cash products, which include direct loans. These are, as I'm sure you're very familiar with, just loans we lend directly to any institution. For example, this type of operation, in a way, we did with credits. I mean, it's a credit line, very flexible. I'll go a bit over the details of in what sense we're quite flexible and can help a lot in this area in funding or guarantee side. Then we have our structured product type of operations, which we call them loan substitutes, which are basically in the form of covered bonds. So these are market instruments or bonds. That's the covered bond is the instrument we used with CBNK, which was a very small financial institution in Spain, where we did this women entrepreneurship program. And since it was, we had to come up with a financial structure that we could be able to work with them, as from a, let's say, standalone perspective, we wouldn't be allowed by our credit department. Hence, we had to combine with a capital markets instrument to be able to work with them, which I think in a way could be considered as one of the first social covered bonds in Spain targeting women entrepreneurs. So we came up with quite an innovative structure. Of course, we work as well with asset-backed securities, but typically we do this more with larger banks, or banks who have a bit more, let's say, a bigger balance sheet that can securitize assets. On the other hand, we have used asset-backed security type of structure to come up with innovative solutions or financing tools to finance, for example, the microfinance sector. In the past, the European Progress Microfinance Fund facility was basically structured as a type of asset-backed security, in a way, as it was tranched in several tranches. That is the vehicle that would then give the loans to the microfinance sector. Hence, we try to use this structuring capacity to the benefit to reach to areas where otherwise it's a bit more difficult for the IB because of the size or because of the type of credit risk. In terms of guarantees, we're typically focusing more on the mid-cap segment, as the IB, as EIF focuses more on the SME segment. But just to highlight that we have reinforced quite a lot this area, and we have guarantees that guarantee both existing exposure, so those that we call delinked, and guarantees that guarantee new exposure, those which probably you're more familiar with and are similar to the ones EIF uses, which are called the linked, but they're targeting mainly mid caps. Mid caps we define as companies between 250 and 3,000 employees. Then at the end of the spectrum, of the slide, we have the credit enhancement, but these are synthetic securitization structures which are focused more for capital relief of banks. If we can go to the next slide, please. Yes, so I would highlight that when we're not a commercial lender per se, we are a multilateral bank. Hence, our objective is to reach the public policy objectives whilst balancing, of course, our other objective of keeping and maintaining our AAA. But in general, thanks to this business model, we're able to offer attractive pricing as our capacity to finance ourselves, the IB cheap in the market. We're able to pass it to our financial intermediaries and hence to our final beneficiaries. We actually do require when we lend that there's a rebate or a reduction in interest rate to the financial final beneficiaries. We can offer long maturities, so in that sense we can adapt a bit to the asset liability or financing needs in terms of maturity of the financial institution, but also try to incentivize to offer longer maturities to final beneficiaries. So for example, in this operation we did in Spain, at the end, the loan that is being offered to the women entrepreneurs ranged between 10 to 20 years. So we managed to offer very long maturity, which thanks to this financial structure we could manage to match a bit this asset liability management. The same for the repayments. We try to be quite flexible with the repayments. You know, we can include a amortizing structure with grace periods, even bullets, depending on the case. So in that sense, we're quite flexible. We can lend in any currency. Also, of course, we have the support of our advisory colleagues, Bruno, his team, and other colleagues that can help in the technical assistance to try to identify or to help on the reporting, help identify how to identify the eligible investments from the EIB. And in general, we try to be more a partner, a long-term partner of the financial institutions. So we always try to find a solution whenever possible. I think an example, for example, if we can go to the next slide, please, Anna, is this double intermediated scheme. It's a type of solution we try to offer with financial intermediaries or non-bank or alternative lenders as well, where we cannot operate directly because either the size of our operation, you know, the minimum size of our operations or loan that we can do, or maybe the type of risk is something that our risk management doesn't know how to assess or has difficulties basically assessing. Hence, we do this double intermediated model where we can lend to a larger institution. We take that risk on that institution, but that institution then would lend to the smaller financial institution or non-bank financial intermediary, which potentially could be an MFI, and in turn they can then finally lend to the final beneficiary with the EIB terms and conditions as well. So this is another example where we try to always, whenever possible, again, find a solution to reach to a sector. Again, we're baby steps here. I mean, we're trying. I think we've already done 2-3 operations now, including Banca Etica as well. But of course, we're looking forward to expand more in function of whatever comes and we manage to finance.
Thank you, Sergi. This is rather interesting. So not only a bit more flexibility on maturity, bullet repayment, but also on structure, where through a double intermediation structure, you could also take on board or consider to play indirectly with smaller entities, which will never have been considered by the AB in a first instance. So this is again quite an important game changer, probably particularly in the world of microfinance and social enterprise finance, compared to what were the possibilities offered by EIB a few years ago. So thank you very much. Maybe Simone, and I guess I got a message, we have to accelerate a bit, but just an overview on what were the achievement under InvestEU. You were about to say something, but you reserve yourself for this second round of questions. Over to you.
Yes, Bruno, thank you very much. No, just very quick, very briefly, I just wanted to, as before, we have looked into the different products that have been offered under InvestEU. I've just summarized in one slide which are the main achievements for the InvestEU portfolio guarantees. So here we have reached 86 intermediaries. So we have signed deals with 86 intermediaries, committing almost 500 million euro, aiming to mobilize more than 5.2 billion with the multiplicator effect. And as of end of June 2025, more than 2.2 billion have been issued in favor of micro enterprises and social enterprises. So thanks to our portfolio guarantees, we have reached 87,000 micro and social enterprises. We have covered 23 countries. So almost all countries in the European Union as InvestEU, and in particular, the social window covers only EU countries, and we have supported more than almost 300,000 jobs. And then we have also social reporting, and here there is a breakdown referred to the impact for the microfinance program, where more than half of the micro enterprises were startups established less than 5 years. Then 77% of the micro enterprises are actually self-employed, so entrepreneurs, sole entrepreneurs. 64% have declared that never applied for a loan before. 32% of the portfolio is constituted by female entrepreneurs, and 50% migrants of non-EU origin. So we can see from these figures, thanks to our programs, we can really achieve an amazing social impact on and enhance access to finance to the smaller ones. Just a word on the capacity building investment. Here we have we have really received also here a lot of application, more than 30 application. So we need to be very selective. So here, given that the demand exceeds by far the available resources, and we have signed as of today 47 million euro in subordinated loans under the program. So thank you, Bruno. We'll stop here in the interest of time.
Thank you, Simone, for this let's say impact and achievement under InvestEU. Let's move to Giuliana, maybe to elaborate a bit more on the SEB InvestEU microfinance portfolio. You were just about to say something, but maybe to expand on this. I'm waiting for the slides to materialize. I will take the opportunity, if you have questions, because at the end of this second round of questions, I will give the floor to the audience for question. I already see some comments. There is a question on the code, but if you would like to make a comment, or if you have a question, put it in the chat, or alternatively, just raise your hand using the right button, and we'll give you the floor at the end of the second round of question, or even at the end of the third round of question. Thank you. Giuliana, over to you.
Can you hear me? Yes, you can.
Very well.
So I just wanted to quickly explain a bit more on what the InvestEU microfinance portfolio looks like at CB. I'm trying to show this in a different format, but not able to. Sorry, I have difficulty sharing my screen. I guess I'll do it without the slides then. So the microfinance social economy finance portfolio at CB is of an amount of 315 million, so a much smaller scale than you've heard before from our colleagues from EIB. The size and maturity of sub-projects are around 3 to 50 million, with the length of 3 to 30 years. And the countries covered under InvestEU portfolio are EU member states. So at the moment, we've got Romania, Ireland, France, Greece, Bulgaria, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, and Lithuania. And when it comes to ultimate borrowers, so actually CB tends to work with smaller specialized MFIs that often do not have access to the resources of other MDBs. And we're also very much look at the final beneficiaries, so the ultimate borrowers in the case of our microfinance portfolio under InvestEU are agricultural producers, women-led businesses, Roma and ethnic minorities, and youth-led businesses. So as of June this year, there were 770 microfinance recipients.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much, and congratulations on the progress of Seb. That's rather impressive. Very good. So let's move further. Eduardo, maybe also for you some figures. Where do we stand with SIFTA KPIs?
Yes. So some quick KPIs figures. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. Do you see it?
Yes. Maybe you put it in
Okay.
projection mode.
Yeah. So from the beginning, from 2022, it was around September, October when we started with SIFTA. So 155 financial intermediaries showed interest in SIFTA. From that number, it was translated in 86 applications, where 66% are linked to InvestEU implementing partners. It can be any of the partners, EIF, SEB, EIB. The first step that we need to do with the application is to sign an agreement, and we have managed to sign already 66. There are 2 that I expect to complete it, that they will be signed this week or next week maximum, so it will be 68. And in terms of these horizontal services that I was mentioning before, we have done 178 workshops in different topics: digitalization, EML, impact measurement. This year in 2025 also we did dedicated master classes of SIFTA for microfinance institutions in different countries, different regions where we don't have many beneficiaries. So from the 178 workshops, they had a number of participants, almost 5,000 participants, with an average satisfaction rate of 90%. So we're quite happy with the KPIs.
Very good. Thank you. That's also quite important progress. Anna, maybe you mentioned about some access to finance study under SIFTA. Maybe to expand a bit on what are you going to study? What are you going to explore with this study?
Yes, thank you, Bruno. So yes, this access to finance study, where we are just launching the work, is being done also under SIFTA. So what Eduardo just mentioned, the initiative under the InvestEU Advisory Hub, and it aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the current financial and also non-financial needs of especially the social, ethical finance providers across the EU. We are limiting ourselves to EU only. This will be based on interactions with key sector representatives. We will look at both the demand and the supply side. We will assess on one hand, as mentioned, the needs, but also how social finance providers access financing, what constraints they face, and on the other side, what products are there for them, and maybe in terms of our EIB products, what terms actually would be suitable for this sector to somehow get nearer to the sector. So overall, the study should provide evidence and recommendations to strengthen the financing environment for this sector in Europe. And with this study, we hope to help a little bit pave the way for future EIB operations with representatives from the sector, taking the EIB Banca Etica operation as inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I guess we completed the second round. Let's open the floor for questions, comments from the audience. I can see that there are already some questions, in particular one related to the code, and I guess this is looking at Eduardo. Is MFI from a candidate country eligible to get evaluated and certified compliant with the code? What is the situation with financial intermediaries from candidate countries outside European Union?
Yeah, we are aware of the issue. We know that in the previous initiative, ECTA, some candidate members, countries, they had access to the code. Now it's not longer the case under SIFTA. So for the moment, the difference of the products, the horizontal services are open for everybody. However, specific services are not open for institutions that are not inside EU27. In this case, the training for the code is a specific service. It will not be open for them. We are aware of the issue. We are working on this with the European Commission, and I hope we will find a solution in 2026. This is okay. This is not good situation, but it is what it is for now. And yeah, we hope to find a solution. And as soon we have the solution, of course, we will pass the message to all the networks, and they will pass the message to you. I hope we find the solution soon.
Thank you, Eduardo. There is a question for, I guess, Simone. It's we have it's that. Let me check. 1 second. Yeah, there was a question about technology companies can also consider beneficiary of EU investment programs that aim to support MFIs through digital transformation initiative. But I guess the question was related to Armenia.
Yes. At the moment, I mean, under InvestEU, we are covering. We cannot support Armenia, unfortunately. But yeah, under InvestEU, there is a dedicated program for innovation, digitalization. But the moment we cannot support non-EU countries.
And so MFIs, which are at the moment based in outside the InvestEU, which is more or less a similar situation which Eduardo explained for the moment. And also Juliana said we are operating under InvestEU only in the member states, which is obviously a limit of InvestEU. And what probably was the largest limit is that there was no possibility for candidate countries or standard member states to contribute to InvestEU and therefore to participate to InvestEU. So again, we understand that the European Commission is looking at that and to see how this could potentially be taken into account in the next MFF, but even before. So this is the situation at this stage. Trying to see if there are other comments or if there are hands raised at this stage. Otherwise, I will move to the next set of questions. So we are getting close to the final round of questions. And maybe to Seji, what do you look when selecting counterparties for the EIB? And also, you covered guarantees. I would like to and EIF is covering guarantees. What is the complementarity within the activities between EIB and EIF? Or is there overlap? What is the situation?
Indeed, Bruno, that is those are great questions. So I will tackle the first question. So what do we look for in an intermediary, when we want to work or looking forward to work with an intermediary? So I would say we look at 3 criteria. So the first criteria is there definitely a case to deliver a policy objective. So that's the first criteria. You know, are they targeting, the policy objective we're targeting? Is it climate? Can be final beneficiaries in a social specific context, or affordable housing, for example. No, so are they focused on that area? That's the first policy objective area we're looking for. The second part is there a financial match, to call it in a way? That is, can we structure a financial case that will work equally for us, but also for the financial intermediary? It's really important that we offer added value, and that we find something that it's really can be, won't put into any financial problems, issues in the long term. So we do look for a financial structure that can work. So that would be the second criteria. Of course, as I mentioned before, we're quite innovative. We try to always try to find a solution. Sometimes it is possible, other times, unfortunately, we can't. But we always try to do our best on that part. And I think the third, and also very important, are the capabilities of the financial intermediary. Are they able to deliver or not on those policy objectives we've been targeting, and within or requirements, which is reporting requirements, capacity to reach the volumes we ask in terms of final beneficiaries finance, etc. For your second question, how do we complement with the EIF? I think we're quite complementary. Not only do we coordinate quite a lot and share quite a lot of market intelligence and participate in events like in this one, but on top of that, our financial products generally for the SME, or what would be those companies from 250 to below, the guarantees are targeting that segment of the market. We target the next echelon, which is from 250 onwards in terms of guarantee. However, our funding is fully complementary, typically with EIF's guarantee in that sense. Hence, we do complement within the group to target the same policy objectives in that.
Very good, thank you. Simone, maybe let's take a forward looking. What is expected on EIF side? What is coming up?
Well, as you said, I mean, now also the negotiations for the new MFF has just started. So we are looking forward to that. In terms of the current InvestEU budget, I mean, for the social window, as said before, we have really a lot of demand. Our products are oversubscribed. So, and we do not expect a significant top up of the budget allocation from the European Commission in the upcoming years. So yeah, at the moment we try to serve at best our clients. As also Sergi mentioned, we also take into consideration the ones that are delivering well in terms of inclusions, in terms of timely reporting, social impact. And so we need to be always more and more selective when assessing our counterparties nowadays.
Very good, thank you. Juliana, to you, what are the possibilities for receiving advisory support from SEB, and also what are the lessons learned from SEB blending facility and how they will be shared? And probably funny, and you touch upon the social impact measurement toolkit. There is a session after, but just appeal how to access, where to access the tool, which is free of charge for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if I can, if it works now, to share my slides. Possibly it works.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the possibilities under the InvestEU Advisory Hub, which is implemented by the CEB. So we've got a specific initiative just for MFIs, dedicated to MFIs. and it is about reinforcing social and financial reporting. So we can provide consultancy services to work with MFIs on the reporting. We can also provide support to improve MFI's transparency and capacity to monitor and report on financial and social performance, so the promotion of best practices. And we can provide other tailored, bespoke assistance for capacity building activities such as training and coaching, knowledge sharing, and specialized consulting services. So in practice, this is just an overview of what's been happening in the past 2 years and happening right now in terms of support to MFI. So just a snapshot of with whom we're working on what and with what amounts. So we've worked with Patria on testing social impact indicators. We've worked with Syscredit in Bulgaria on performing an impact assessment of Syscredit's business line. We've worked in Greece to help them develop a cooperative bank to develop a system to assess and monitor ESG-related risks and opportunities and how to adopt it. We've worked as well with Noviti Finance in Lithuania on defining a roadmap and a capacity building plan to strengthen monitoring and assessment of ESG and climate-related benefits. We've worked with BCR Social Finance, which is approved but not yet signed, so that's upcoming on similarly on setting up a data integration and business intelligence strategy, and likewise to develop a social impact measurement and reporting framework. And we've developed the social impact measurement toolkit, Bruno, that you just asked about, which is a toolkit available to everyone, and it's available on the CEB's website. It's very intuitive to use. And it provides examples of best practices and helps MFIs measure their social impact. So in addition to using specific consultants to work side by side with MFIs, we have this toolkit, which I believe is very useful and hopefully will be used. And there's this dedicated session today on it. So you can all attend, I hope, and learn more about it. And in terms of the lessons on the blending, well, we're just starting. And we hope to disseminate them, the lessons in next upcoming years on how that's going to work, this combination of an InvestEU guarantee with an ESF plus supported non-repayable support to accompany MFIs in reaching more of the vulnerable population in terms of final borrowers with interest rate subsidies and business development services to help develop businesses. So we're very excited about this new initiative, and we'll probably share maybe next year at this forum the results. Thank you.
Very good. Good plan for next year. Thank you. Eduardo, and maybe just to get a bit into the details of the services provided, the bespoke services provided to a beneficiary. You have an example just to understand how does it work?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we have the example that I wanted to share with you is Microfinance in Sweden, who basically they went through institutional assessment and also peer-to-peer visit. So the institutional assessment is a 360-degree review of the internal procedures of the institution. And as Microfinance is quite new into microfinance, it was very useful for them to identify gaps in their procedures, solve some issues, some practices in their modus operandi that they were not 100% correct. So they have improved a lot thanks to the institutional assessment. And their final objective with the exercise was also be more in line with the requirements of the EIF, because they are planning and they have already applied for the guarantees. And normally, after the exercise of the institutional assessment, they have been approved for the guarantees. They used also peer-to-peer visit. They went to visit another institution similar to them, but with much more experience. This is always what we try to do, like the institution that is visiting get all the best practices and knowledge. So they went to France Active, And from the feedback we got, they have improved. They learn how to develop products and also to improve their decision-making practices. So I think it was very useful. The message I always want to pass when I present SIFTA is that it really can be tailored to your needs. It's not pre-cooked services that we do and then you are there only to listen. So basically, if you have a project you want to improve whatever area in your organization, just start with the application. We will speak together, and together with the consultants, Frankfurt School of Finance and MFR, we will find the most suitable product for you. And so far, we believe that are very useful for all the organizations that are inside the program, inside of the initiative.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. Anna, maybe, and thank you for stop sharing the slides also. Anna, when it comes to migrants and refugees, what's coming up? What's next, focusing on these two categories?
Yes, thank you, Bruno. I guess you are referring to the AMIF workstream and the FICOMPAS. So there we are finalizing the work on some of FICOMPAS publications. One of them will be to look at the potential role of financial instruments in supporting the implementation of the EU Migration Pact. Including how could financial instruments complement grant-based measures. So it's going to be quite an interesting publication. We're also on the FICOMPAS side generally warmly invite all the microfinance sector representatives, especially from the EU, to join the FICampus 2025 in Brussels, our flagship event that we're organizing on 25th to 27th November in Brussels. There will be also on day 3 an ESF plus session, so especially day 3 might be quite relevant, and there will be also a session focusing on this exploration of financial instruments for third country nationals in the late afternoon of FICampus, and as well an additional workshop, which is a standalone workshop dealing with a specific topic of financing of refugee labor pathways, challenges and opportunities, it's called. So I know that there are microfinance institutions that are involved in financial support to third country nationals. So please consider if you maybe want to join us. And if I can maybe mention, beyond the work on third country nationals, but we will continue obviously our work as I mentioned on the SIFTA study. We're also going to continue the work on the ongoing bilateral support under SIFTA to Banca Etica. And for any new EIB operations with microfinance providers, we're also, of course, very keen on seeing if any specific bilateral support can be designed. As Eduardo just mentioned, the support tools are quite flexible. And maybe just in the end to mention that on the ESF plus FICOMPAS workstream side, we will be conducting in 2000. So we're actually also launching this work. We'll be conducting an ESF plus / ERDF EU-wide market assessment study for 2028 plus, where we also will look a little bit into the topic of microfinance among other sectors as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for all this information. And let me take this opportunity that let's say starting in 2026, Anna will be involved in the ESF plus FICOMPAS work stream. I think it's rather relevant with all the activities that you have carried so far. So a lot of I would say merit, but a lot of I would say challenges ahead for you as well. I noticed that Juliana put it in the chat, not only the link to the tool, but also signaling that the session about measuring what matters, outcomes and impact social finance starts at 2:30, and then to this afternoon, and then there is a Luxembourger citizen based in Congo and willing to develop a green impact microfinance fintech. Is it possible to get any support for the development of our range of services, products ground in the African context? So I don't know, maybe Simone, would you like to reply on this one? Maybe with within the limits of the remit of EIF, but then I will complement your answer.
No, yeah, on the EIF side, we really focus on the European Union, and we just have we had a few programs also focus on Western Balkans and other few initiatives going beyond these ranges. But let's say that the activity in outside Europe, it's typically covered by the EIB. So I leave you to complement.
Yeah, exactly. So there are some activities dedicated or outside the European Union from the EIB. It's, I would say, another area, another environment of EIB, which is focusing on that. I do not have information about the possibilities of microfinance fintech in Congo, but probably through our website, there is a possibility to understand a bit more what is the exposure and what are the possibilities outside the European Union, in particular for Africa, when it comes to this type of services and products. So hopefully we are at least pointing in the right direction. I will. There are a few minutes left. I can see that there are some. Well, we covered all the questions in the chat. I'm just checking if there are hands which are raised, just to give the floor for some questions. No, I don't see much. So one second more. No, but I can see that either it was super clear, and then I would congratulate all the speakers. So we are at the end now of this session. I would like to thank all the speakers, Saji, Simone, Giuliana, Eduardo, Anna, and Pavel, which you don't see, but he's in the background for the smooth and technical assistance. And of course, I would like to thank you all participants. There is another session starting at 11:30, so you have just the time to grab a coffee and be ready for the session Preparing Microfinance for Tomorrow, Policy Risk and Opportunities in Security-Focused Area. When I can see some hands, thank you so much. Thanks, Alrod, Elrich. Okay. I would like to say that I will invite all the participants to fill the form. There is a feedback form which will be displayed on your screen after leaving the session. So feel free, help us, help MFC to improve in this session, and also to well, yeah, to improve for next time whenever we have to deliver and raise awareness of these kinds of instruments. Having said this, thank again to speakers and participants, and hope to see you soon. So thank you very much. Bye bye.